I'm pouring my coffee. And I'm gonna try the bread for you guys. So I'm gonna try the bread plain by itself without no mayonnaise. Then I'm gonna try it with mayonnaise. It tastes plain because I didn't put much sugar in there and I didn't put much salt in there. But it's soft inside and it's crunchy at the side. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. This is Lifestyle Gardener. Today I'm going to show you how I make homemade bread using the traditional yeast starter. I'm going to start this bread right now in the night time, and then tomorrow I will bake the bread. So I'm going to show you the process that I use to make the bread. As some people don't make the bread like this, but I'm trying to make it as easy as possible and less messy as possible. So I'm going to show you how I do it, and it always works for me. The bread don't always come out the same, but it always come out delicious. So stay tuned as I show it to you. So I'm going to start off with 3 cups of flour. I'm using white flour. It's so much cheaper to make your bread at home than to buy it in the store. I don't measure it completely, but I aim to get at least 3 cups. Then I'm gonna put a tablespoon of sugar. You don't need to put any sugar in your bread if you don't want to. But I'm gonna put a tablespoon of sugar. So most people, they would put their yeast inside the lukewarm water, a little bit above lukewarm water, and then pour it in the flour. But I find that this way is much more easier to do by mixing it in the flour. So I'm going to use about a tablespoon of yeast. You don't need to use a tablespoon, you could use a teaspoon. I mix it right in the flour. I find it works out better for me that way. Then I'm going to put about a pinch of salt, just to bring out the flavor a bit. Then I'm going to stir everything in. I always say don't knock something until you try it, right? I know most people, they don't make their bread like this, but don't knock this process unless you try it. It's very easy to make bread this way. This would actually encourage you to make bread more at home. I don't always use the traditional yeast. Sometimes I use the instant yeast because the instant yeast, the bread will rise quicker. And I'm going to put a tablespoon of my homemade butter that I canned the other day with coconut oil. You could also use oil if you want. You don't need to use butter. I'm gonna get about 1 cup of water. I'm gonna just take it from the top. And if I need more water, I'll put more water. Make sure the water is not too hot, because if it gets too hot, you could kill the yeast. So if you put your finger inside, the water and you're able to tolerate the water, then it should be okay. So I'm gonna put a little bit at a time and use my spoon. This is my favorite spoon that I like to use to make my homemade bread. Most people would use their hands to do this at the beginning, but at the beginning I like to use a spoon because it's less messy that way. So I keep putting the water in and then I stir it afterwards. So I try to fix the camera so that you guys can see exactly what it looks like inside. I don't have proper equipment to display that properly, but I'm trying my best. I have somebody in my family saying how bread is too hard to make, but I think this process is actually make it easy to make bread. So the quickness of the bread rising has to do with the temperature of your home, and it has to the season also makes a difference if it's in the winter time or summertime, springtime or fall. Everything all depends how quick it's gonna rise. But I'm just gonna leave this overnight, so I know it's going to rise by the time I wake up. If you're going to use an instant yeast, I think maybe within 2 to 3 hours time, or 4 hours sometime, the dough should rise, but you have to just keep checking on it. You're not gonna always get the same result the same time all the time. Gonna get more water. The thing is, if you end up putting too much water, don't worry, you can always put more flour. almost ready for me to use my hands. I think I'm probably gonna need more water. I'm gonna start to use my hands before I put any more water, just in case. I don't want to put too much, but if I put too much, all I have to do is just put more flour. It's not a big deal. So I'm gonna test it out. I'm gonna put some oil on my hands. I'm gonna use a little bit of olive oil on my hands to help reduce with the stickiness. I end up putting a little bit too much oil, but that's okay. It just will give more flavor to the dough. I actually think it needs a little bit more water, actually. A little bit more. I'm gonna use the thing is, if it's homemade, you don't have to worry about it being perfect. You're not making it to sell it. You know, this is not a restaurant, this is homemade. Homemade food don't have to look perfect all the time. It's the flavor that's more important than the looks of it. As you guys can see how I'm forming the dough by using this part to push against it. I like making the bread this way because it's less messy this way, more easier. You have to keep doing this until the dough feel more like I don't know, like marshmallow, bouncy like marshmallow. And what you can do in the midst of doing this, you can make the dough rest for 5 minutes. I'm gonna leave it for 5 minutes, cover it up for 5 minutes, and then I'm gonna try to knead it more with my hands. And by doing that, I'm helping the gluten to develop more by doing that. So I'm gonna cover this for 5 minutes, and then I'm gonna start doing it again. It will be more easier to work the dough if you let the bread rest for 5 minutes. So in 5 minutes time, I will get back to you guys. Okay, so 5 minutes went by. So it's even the gluten in the dough even loosen up even more, so it's even more easier to form the dough. You guys see how easy it came together, because using the spoon and letting the dough rest after a while for 5 minutes help the spread. So what I know of is that the more you can play with the bread, with the dough, is the better the gluten will develop in the bread. So I'm gonna keep playing with it until it feels more like of a marshmallow texture. Not soft like a marshmallow, but bouncy, more like of a marshmallow. Like when you touch it, it should bounce back very quickly, like a marshmallow. So if you wanna time yourself how long to keep playing with the dough, I think maybe 10 minutes the most. I think it'll be ready for you to let it rest. So I'm gonna keep doing this a little bit more, and then I'll get back to you guys. So I'm not going to play with this anymore. I'm just going to sprinkle some oil on top of it, and then I'm going to mix the oil inside. Mix the oil all around the dough. And this will help prevent the dough from drying out while it's rising overnight. And it also gives the bread extra flavor. So I put oil all around it. So I'm just going to cover it up. You could also put a plastic wrap over it too to help prevent it from drying out. But I'm going to put a towel over this bowl, and I might keep this in the oven and then take it out tomorrow. So see you guys tomorrow. I'm just going to use this cover because it closes up more tightly. So I don't have to use a towel if I don't want to. It's more secure with this lid in it, so I'm gonna just do that instead. So it's the next day. The dough did not rise fully yet because I noticed when I do this with the traditional yeast, the dough doesn't rise as much. I have to play with the dough a little bit more and then let it rise some more. But if I do this with the instant yeast, the dough would rise higher. But because I wanted to do this before going to bed, I use the traditional yeast. Normally I would do this in the daytime, and I will use the traditional yeast and the dough would rise quicker. So I have to play with again for a little bit more. This is what it looks like, and then I'm gonna let it rise some more. So I'm gonna put a little bit of coconut oil on my hands just to make sure it doesn't stick on my hands, and I'm going to play with the dough. So maybe I'm just gonna let it rise maybe for 1 hour. It's so easy to work with. One more hour or 2 hours. The thing about bread, the longer you give it time to ferment, the better it comes out tasting. So this is actually not a bad thing. It's actually a good thing. Even sometime with the instant yeast, I let the the dough ferment longer than 4 hours. And when I do that, I find that the bread come out so nice and crispy when I do that. So there's enough oil on it where I don't need to put in oil. I'm gonna let it rise. I don't know how long, maybe for 1 or 2 hours time. So I'm gonna make a little drink using my homemade raisin vinegar. You can see the mother at the bottom right there. It comes out to a beautiful color. I made a video about how I made my homemade raisin vinegar. You can check in my playlist. And I also made a video about how I made this infused honey with lime. I'm gonna ferment it for a month. It's been 4 days now since I've started to ferment it in honey, but there's no rule saying that you cannot start using it before 30 days. So I'm gonna do that with a little bit warm water. It's a little bit above warm water, just to wake up my digestion. So I'm gonna use my wooden thong to take it up, the lemon. I'm gonna try to avoid using metal things until it completely ferment. As you can see, the honey, the lemon juice, the natural juice in the lemon came out in the honey, so it's not as thick as it was before. I made a video about how I made this, but I have not uploaded yet. I probably would upload it this week or next week. I need to edit it first. I'm going to put 1 slice of lemon in there. I really find that the raisin vinegar tastes really good when I mix it in water with lemon. It makes a very nice tasting juice. So that's like 1 tablespoon of raisin vinegar. By making my own homemade vinegar, I can utilize it throughout the day in my cooking or in my water. Instead of just drinking plain water, it makes the water more interesting. There are some people that struggle to drink water throughout the day. So as you can see, there's little brown things inside the water. So this is infused with honey, lemon, and ginger. So this is very good for the digestion, because the homemade vinegar also, it's a good drink to drink. Please like and share. I'm gonna taste it. It's very good. So I'm gonna put this away and let it ferment some more. I'm fermenting it at room temperature. So I let the dough rise for 1 hour and a half. I'm going to put it in the bread pan. It rise higher than how it did this morning. If I wanted to, I could let it rise for another half an hour or so, but I'm just gonna let it rise a third time in this baking pan instead. So I'm gonna deep puff it. So I started to deep puff it, so I'm gonna just roll it like this. Stretch it out, not pulling it apart, but actually just stretching it out. Shape it into the pan. So take on the shape of the pan. Doesn't have to be perfect. I'm gonna let it rise maybe for 15 minutes to half an hour, and then I preheat the oven for 350 and bake it for 45 minutes. I'm going to cover it in the meantime and let it rise. So the bread rose. I preheat the oven for 350, so I'm going to bake it for 45 minutes. Then I'll take it out and let you guys see what it looks like. As you guys can see, it rise beautifully. So look at it. So I'm gonna let it stay in the pan for 5 minutes, and then I'm gonna put it on one of my cutting board to let it cool off, and then I'll cut it when I'm ready to eat my breakfast. So if you want your bread to be more soft, right now it's crispy at the top. If you want it to be more soft, you can butter it with butter all over or oil all over, and it becomes soft. But I want I want the outer layer to be crispy, so I'm gonna leave it like this. Sometimes I'm in the mood for my bread to be crispy. Sometimes I'm in the mood for my bread to be soft all over. So it's crispy outside, and inside when you cut it, it's soft inside. I'm in the mood for my bread to be like that. If I want it to be soft all over, inside and out, I'll just put oil all over the bread or butter all over the bread. And then in 5 minutes time, it'll become more soft. So I let the bread rest for 20 minutes. If you could let it rest for 1 hour before cutting it, it'd be more easier to cut it. But if you cut the bread right away, when you take it from the oven, your bread is gonna fall apart more. See what it looks like? Nothing like homemade coffee. Normally I would drink my coffee before I eat my breakfast or after I eat my breakfast. Half an hour in between times. Anyways, you guys, I'll talk to you another day. Bye.